welcome Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast brought to you by our friends over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com, or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. And if you give Briar-Greaves Insurance a call and let them see how they can help you with your insurance situation, no matter what type of insurance it is, you will automatically be put into a raffle to win tickets to the Bucs-Falcons Thursday night game in December, a creamsicle game. And they're tickets for the lower bowl section. So make sure you give Briar-Greaves Insurance a call and get entered into that raffle. It's a Pewter post-game show. We are talking about the Bucs Monday night game against the Lions, which ended up being a nightmare scenario for Tampa Bay. Looks like they lost Mike Evans for the season, and they played their sloppiest game, certainly offensively, as they fall to the Lions by a score of 24-9 and drop to 5-2 on the season. So we're going to recap it all, get to your comments, questions, and super chats as well. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is SR Scott Reynolds, PewterReport.com. Scott, this is just a tough game for the Bucs where they never really got the rhythm going, especially on the offensive side.
No, and it really wasn't. And we're going to kind of start with the biggest news of the night. Unfortunately, the loss probably for the year for Mike Evans. It's a story that Pewter Report reported in the fourth quarter that Evans sustained what we believed at the time was a broken collarbone, and that's exactly what it is, unfortunately. Todd Bowles confirmed that at the end of the game and in his post-game press conference, saying that he did break his clavicle. He said he would likely be out for most of the year. There is a chance Evans could come back and help this team in the playoffs, perhaps. But what this does mean is, unfortunately, his record bid to break Jerry Rice's record of 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons of receiving yards comes to an end. Those two legends will end in a tie, as Jerry Rice and Mike Evans both have 11 straight years of 1,000 yards receiving. Mike did that at the beginning of his career. He obviously is not going to be in position to get that this season. He will miss, again, most of the season, if not all of the season. Very unfortunate news. And this in no way has anything to do with the hamstring injury. And so if you're out there thinking, well, they shouldn't have played Mike, listen, this could have happened in any week, in any game. He literally landed on his shoulder the wrong way and broke his clavicle, his collarbone. So a very unfortunate injury for Mike. But this Buccaneer team is still 5-2, and this is not the end of the road for them. They won 10 games last year, Matt.
Yeah.
The majority of them without Chris Godwin.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And, it's devastating news for Mike. I think more for, what he's meant to this team and his legacy to the team and the record. It just sucks seeing it this way, where he finally fights back from that hamstring injury. Was involved early. I know he technically didn't have a reception, but he was able to draw a pass interference penalty. Almost made a fantastic catch on that deep ball where he did, unfortunately, break his clavicle. So, the streak, unfortunately, comes to an end. But hopefully it doesn't mean the end of Mike Evans with the Bucs. It is the last year of his deal. But who knows? If he's able to come back for the postseason and maybe help make a run. I look at tonight's game, and yes, I'm with you. I think the Bucs can still get the job done with Johnson & Johnson, with Sterling Shepard, certainly Emeka Egbuka, and hopefully Chris Godwin Jr. is able to make a return at some point this season, maybe even next week or maybe after the bye.
Mm-hmm.
I look at tonight's game, and I look at it more as just a bad night for the Bucs. I don't think it's indicative of what's to come. It's not all on Baker Mayfield, but I don't think there's any question Baker had the worst game of his season this year. I mean, if he throws that touchdown, I know Tez Johnson had a touchdown in the game, but that second to last drive with about 5-ish minutes to go.
Yeah.
Missed Tez Johnson in the end zone, and he underthrew Emeka Buka. That could have been a touchdown as well.
Yeah.
If Bucs score, for everything else that happened in the game, the crappy officiating,
Right.
the big play by Jahmyr Gibbs on the run, for all of those things, if the Bucs are able to score a touchdown on that play, it's a one-possession game, and who knows what happens at the end, because we know how Baker is in crunch time. The Bucs had all their timeouts. To me, Baker was the biggest culprit. I don't think this is going to be something that lingers for the entire season. But that was a tough pill to swallow in this game, knowing that the Lions didn't, they didn't bring it to the Bucs the way that maybe they could have, especially the way that game was teetering early on. Just a rough night for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions defense did their job. And I'll tell you what, hats off to those replacement defensive backs. I thought they played their ass off for the Lions.
Yeah.
They really did. They outplayed the Buccaneers. And that was a total shock to me. I thought that Tampa Bay was going to be able to come in and throw the ball around the yard and get things done in the air. I think Josh Grizzard got way out of whack with the pass and the run mix in this game. And when you look at the fact that Baker Mayfield threw the ball 50 times in this game and then was sacked a handful of times as well, and only ran the ball 11 times. Yeah. You've got 10 carries for Rashad White for 38 yards, 1 carry for Sean Tucker for 4. And the thing is I think that they started to throw the ball too often and didn't rely on the running game enough. And I think maybe it felt like the game was further away than it actually was on the scoreboard. The Bucs defense did a pretty good job of hanging in there.
Yeah.
Still a lot of missed tackles tonight. Logan Hall missed plenty of tackles. Servassier Dennis missed plenty of tackles. I think with Todd Bowles, when we talk to him tomorrow, that's going to be one of the things out of his mouth is just the missed tackles. And there was a lot of opportunities at the line of scrimmage. And I thought this was a game where, and I kind of did a Pewter Pulse on this on Friday about, expecting to win and hoping to win, and how the Lions expect to win. And they have a physicality and a fight. And they knew that if they lost this game, they were going to slide down the NFC mountain a little bit with 2 straight losses, especially. They had to come out and this was almost, you could almost feel like a do or die moment for Detroit. And that run on 4th down where Anthony Nelson had Jahmyr Gibbs tackled for a loss, Gibbs gets out of that. And then Greg Gaines grabs him and can't bring him down. And Antoine Winfield Jr. comes in and lays a hit, and Gibbs still powers through that and gets 2 yards for the first down. That was a huge play. That was indicative of how much fight the Lions had all night on both sides of the ball, and the Bucs just couldn't match it. They just did not have it in the tank tonight to match that fight. There were some good plays. Tyke Smith had a beautiful sack. Yaya Diaby had a great strip sack, right? There were some great plays out there. Jamel Dean had his 3rd interception.
Another interception, yeah.
I know. But it wasn't enough, and it wasn't sustained. And that Jahmyr Gibbs 78-yard run was that was a massive play that continued to fuel the Lions and fire that crowd up. And it's a tough place to play when you're behind there. And when Baker Mayfield was just under duress, and there were times, Matt, he wasn't under duress. There were times where I felt that he just hurried that clock in his head a little bit. And the throws were high. He was skittish in the pocket. We've kind of seen this. You see it about once or twice a year from Baker. Unfortunately, it happened tonight. I didn't hear Baker say he was disappointed in his performance tonight. I bet you on Wednesday, when he has a chance to look at the film, he's going to be disgusted by how he played and probably say, man, I played terrible, and that's why we lost.
Yeah, he had guys open. I mean, Tez Johnson had to jump as high as he possibly could. And we know Tez Johnson is athletic. We all saw the somersaults and stuff like that. And I get it, because he had to throw it into a window. So you got to put a little extra juice on it. And whether you're throwing a football or a baseball, typically the harder you throw it, the more it has an ability to kind of sail on you and go a little bit too high. the running game wasn't working, but I do agree. I do feel like Josh Broussard kind of pulled the plug a little bit too quickly on the runs with Rachaad White only getting the ball 10 times when running, and they ran it a couple of times with Sean Tucker. But yeah, I mean, like defensively, they kept the Bucs in the game. Tampa Bay's defense I'm talking about. Like, yes, you don't want the big yardage play when Amon-Ra St. Brown scored, when Gibbs scored and all of that stuff. But we're talking about only allowing 24 points to the Lions in Detroit.
Yeah.
And 3 of those really came on the turnover on downs on all the crazy stuff that happened there. So it's really just 21 points. We're still talking about getting a big 4th down stop earlier in the game, a strip sack that was recovered by your team, and then the interception by Jamel Dean as well. So I put a lot more blame on the offense in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Charlie Heck got worse as the game went on, which was a little frustrating to see. And I get it. Like, the Bucs have to throw it. They're down by 2 scores. It's getting late in the game. But damn, man, like, give Charlie Heck some help in that situation. They were just having him go one-on-one, and then Rachaad White would chip, but then he'd be like, you know what? I'm not going to chip. I'm just going to make myself open in the flat. And then Baker's trying to go deep down the field. He's not worried about throwing a swing pass to Rachaad White. And then it just leaves Aiden Hutchinson alone to get to Baker Mayfield. So just some sloppy performances all around. A lot of this definitely falls on Baker Mayfield. His stock dropped in the MVP
there's no doubt.
ranking for sure. Now, again, there's still plenty of time to clean it up. If he throws for 6 touchdowns against New Orleans Saints next week, he's right back at the top once again. But it just sucks that they had this type of game in prime time. I know we talked about earlier, they won on Monday night, therefore they're cured. Well, you can't go right back to reverting to a less than stellar performance, only scoring 9 points. This is going to be a true study session this week with how they can, get Tampa Bay better.
Oh yeah. Well, this game did a couple things. It didn't end the MVP campaign for Baker Mayfield, but it stalled it for sure.
Yeah.
It didn't increase Josh Broussard's stock when it came to becoming a head coaching candidate in this offseason. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing, depending how you look at it. And also too, it's not the end of the season. The Buccaneers didn't lose anything tonight except for a game, right?
Yeah.
They're still in the lead in the NFC South. They're still 5-2. Which, if you had told Todd Bowles, we're not going to tell you which ones you're going to win and which ones you're going to lose. But at the start of the season, would you take a 5-2 start? Would you, if you ask any head coach that, sight unseen, they're going to take that, because that means I get to win 5 more games and I'm at 10 wins. That probably gets me into the playoffs. So still a very inevitable place to be. I mean, if you would ask the Lions, or I'm sorry, the Falcons or the Panthers, would you like to trade places? Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, give me the Bucs record for sure. So the biggest thing, though, is this team has to win next week. You can't let one loss slide into 2.
Correct.
They found ways to win without Mike. They found ways to win without Chris last year. It's unfortunate this offense is going to be a little handicapped in that respect, but we've got to see some of these younger players step up. And Baker Mayfield, I think if he would have played better tonight, I'm not saying like on top of his game. If he plays on top of his game, they probably win this game. But if he played better, it's a much closer game. And I think that we haven't seen this type of just squirrely, skittish performance from Baker, where he's just rattled so much so that he's missing wide open players and touchdowns and throwing the ball 10, 15 feet in the air over the heads of guys. So I think we're going to see a much more focused Baker take it out on the Saints next week. And I expect Tampa Bay to have a bounce back win against the Saints in New Orleans.
Yeah, and the Saints are a team that can turn over the ball a ton. So it could be another game for the Bucs defense to pounce on some opportunities. And the Bucs still are in first place. They're only a game ahead of Carolina, but Carolina has some really tough opponents. They play the Bills next week.
Without Bryce Young.
Yeah, without Bryce Young. They still have to play the 49ers and the Rams. So there's a lot of tough teams on the schedule and the Packers as well. So while it looks good for Carolina right now, they still have some buzzsaw opponents to deal with. So Yeah, let's get into these super chats. Lucas Crane became a Pewter Report YouTube channel member earlier this morning, so we appreciate your support. We go to Virgin Boys. Thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, also, is Luke Gedeke ever going to come back? With a couple of question marks and exclamation points.
Yeah, I mean, the expectation is that he will. So here's the good news. You lose Mike Evans, but Bucky Irving will come back. Luke Gedeke will come back. Jalen McMillan will come back. Those are three key guys on offense. We also saw Emeka Egbuka. Matt come out of this game unscathed, at least we think. He played the entire game. Probably not feeling the best right now, but at least he will play in New Orleans. That's the expectation, and then have a bye week, and then hopefully you get some of these guys back after the bye week. And again, this is one loss, and I know that it sucked. It was on Monday Night Football. This was a big game. And what it means is the Buccaneers just weren't ready to beat the Lions tonight. It doesn't mean that they can't beat the Lions.
Right.
It just means that it didn't happen tonight. And we've kind of talked about this before. Go back to 2002. They lost to the Eagles in round one, and then they came back to beat them in the playoffs in 2002 in the NFC Championship game when it mattered. And the same thing happened with the Eagles again just a couple of years ago. In 2023, they got hammered by the Eagles. Bad loss on Monday Night Football at home. Week 3, and then they end up destroying the Eagles later that season in the playoffs at home.
Yeah.
So it's one loss. You would have liked to have seen this team have the maturity to come out and put a command performance together. This loss to me shows me and tells me that the Detroit Lions are still the team to beat in the NFC right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You look at head-to-head matchups and stuff like that. Virgin Boys, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, can't blame the defense. They played as good as they could. This loss is 100% on Grizzard and Baker. They both had terrible games. Also, the refs are ass. Yeah, I blame Baker. Blame can go around everywhere. I would blame Baker a little bit more than Josh Grizzard. Players were open. Baker just missed them.
Yes.
You can scheme the guys open. Josh Grizzard can't go and take Baker's arm and do the throwing mechanic and have the ball go into the hands of Tez Johnson. So that's why I put more of the blame on Baker than I do Josh Grizzard. He's not without his faults and his flaws in that game. And then the refereeing, again, I'm not watching the game with volume on because I'm doing the Pewter Game Day show. I'm still shocked about the whole Kate Otten gets the first down on 4th down.
Yeah.
The refs stopped the game to review it on their own, not because there was a challenge, but to review it on their own. Then the Lions go and challenge after it. That whole thing was confusing to me. Baker said he wasn't happy about it after the game. I think the NFL has a true refereeing problem across the board, not just with the Bucs. The problem is no one's going to do anything about it.
No,
I hate to say it, no one's going to do anything about it because they don't have to, and we're still going to watch.
Yep.
But I hate it. The refereeing is just awful. Yeah. And it's BS to me that they're considered part-timers, but then they're deciding the most important sport in the world that makes the most money in the world, but we're going to have part-time guys. They can't afford the right pylon cams, and you can't afford to pay full-time refs. What are we talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy. It is. I'm with you.
The Real Maverick, thanks for the $9.99 super chat, says, primetime curse isn't gone. Baker throwing high all night. Offensive line, no answers for the pass rush. Grizzard looked like a rookie play caller for the first time. One positive, it seems as though we have a pass rush.
Well, yeah, Hassan Reddick got hurt as well in this game. Had his leg rolled up on. I'm sure that's going to be a multi-week injury as well. So Anthony Nelson and Yahya Diaby are your starters.
Yeah.
And probably going to see Mohamed Kamara come up, I would imagine. My guess is you might put Hassan Reddick on injured reserve if it's a high ankle sprain, because that might be a 4-week injury regardless. And at this point, you need the roster spots. I'm pretty sure you're going to put Mike Evans on injured reserve as well. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you go out and you trade for a pass rusher, Matt. Maybe this is the time where Jason Light just goes, you know what? I like the 5-2. I like 6-2 when this team beats the Saints heading into the bye week. And if you're not going to have Hassan Reddick for a while, and I can't say that he was a difference maker in the first part of the season to begin with. Am I wrong, Matt?
He had the 1 sack in week 1. But that's about it. That was
Yeah.
a significant play, but that was almost 2 months ago now at this point.
And at this point, do you re-sign him next year? And for how
No.
much? He's a 1-year player.
Right.
Maybe you put the chips all in and just say, damn the torpedoes. We're going to get, we're going to get Trey Hendrickson. And maybe you do that,
I'm with it. Hey, good for Yaya Diaby. Stacking 2 good games. Had the strip sack early on. So the stock on Yaya Diaby is going up.
Yeah, agreed.
Paul Morales, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, well, balls. But regroup and win next week and head into the bye 6-2. Yes, it's a bad taste in the mouth of the Bucs right now. But if they go and beat New Orleans and, maybe beat them handsomely, maybe there's a victory formation in this game for Tampa Bay and it's not cardiac Bucs. Well, then, again, before the season, hey, would you be willing to settle for 6-2 going into the bye? Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. 2 division wins as well in the NFC South. I think every Bucs fan would be fine with that. So you got to wipe the slate clean. I'm sure the Bucs are going to have a walkthrough on Wednesday when they get back to practice. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But they got to get ready for a New Orleans team that isn't good, but they are scrappy, and they have not made things easy for the Bucs. It's been easier in New Orleans than in Tampa, but definitely got to be on their P's and Q's for that game.
Yep.
The Real Maverick, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, says, SR, your Pewter Pulse about them being ready or not to be the hunted was spot on. Verdict, not ready.
That's right.
If you told me we held Detroit to 24, I'd have said we won.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? If I had told everybody out there that the Bucs defense holds the Lions to 24, remember they were averaging 31.8 coming into this game, and I think 43 points in that building. If the defense had held the Lions to 24 points, Aiden Hutchinson didn't have a sack, Aleem McNeil didn't have a sack, and you sacked Jared Goff 3 times, and the turnover battle was even. Who won the game? You might say, oh, well, shoot, Tampa Bay did, of course. No, it wasn't the case. Despite all of those things kind of going in the Bucs' favor, it wasn't enough. And I will say this, Aleem McNeil coming back was an absolute difference maker. He destroyed Graham Barton for most of the night.
He did.
I mean, just drove him in the backfield. Aleem McNeil did his best Vita Vea impersonation. And I don't watch Aleem McNeil enough. Maybe he plays like this all the time, and I just don't know because I don't cover the Lions. But I was super impressed with him. He was just an absolute pocket wrecker, run game stuffer tonight. And he's one of those things that you look at the stat sheet, and I haven't even seen what he's got. Probably didn't have a bunch of crazy stats. 1 tackle.
Yeah.
1 tackle tonight. But, man, he was a game wrecker up front. So I don't know, man. It was statistically a really weird game because in some ways you're kind of happy with what the Bucs did, and in some ways you're not. But obviously it's a loss, and the offense was putrid, and a lot of it was on Baker Mayfield. I mean, we praise the guy when he pulls off these miracles at the end and just lights up other teams, but this was, I'm not going to say a layup, but if Brian Branch was playing, if Kirby Joseph was playing, if DJ Reed were playing, if Terrion Arnold were playing, I don't know if the Buccaneers get a first down the way that they played tonight on defense without those guys.
Yeah, it's a scary thought. And someone had mentioned before on the Game Day show that maybe part of why Baker was starting to throw high is because he got a lot of passes tipped at the line of scrimmage. I think it was 3, and that could have factored in a little bit as well. Callie Bucks, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, have you seen the pic of the corner hanging from Evans' back? No ball in sight. Tackled early without a call. Mayfield's accuracy was terrible today.
Yeah, I mean, they were letting the Lions play, and it certainly benefited the backup players because there were, I mean, even on the Evans catch, or actually he didn't catch it, but where he was extending for that play, the Lions defender was tackling him before the ball was even securely in his hands. So but you know what? That's how the refs were calling it, and as much as we like Tez Johnson and Sterling Shepard and Emeka Egbuka, this team is going to need another big receiver at some points. And I'm not wishing Mike Evans off to the sunset just yet, but they're going to need another bigger receiver, a 6'2", 6'3" physical guy that can go up and get the ball, because they've got a lot of really good pieces for the future. But when Mike does end up hanging it up, they're going to need another big X-type receiver to help out Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that's likely with that type of situation. And penalties hurt the Bucs a lot in today's game. I mean, Cameron Johnson, they go down. First of all, there was the illegal use of hands to the face by Jacob Parrish. That eventually leads to a touchdown. That was a third down, too. They had gotten the stop. Cameron Johnson returns the following kickoff all the way past midfield, but there's a penalty on Kayvon Merriweather. There's a penalty on the play right before the Jahmyr Gibbs 78-yard run for a touchdown. Then they get an extra play, and bam, he's off to the races. So penalties were big time.
They were
in this game, not helping Tampa Bay, and the refs didn't help either with all of their decisions.
Right on cue.
Bucs Basement, thanks for the $10 super chat, says game was rigged from the word go. The refs wanted the Lions to calm down after the Chiefs game, so they F us over. Holy heck, was God awful. Reddick Shoyenko was a ghost. Light needs to get a pass rush.
We'll see what happens. I would be all in favor of that. I know Jason Light is not his MO to push all the chips in and go for it. But if you feel like you have got a team that has the potential, and again, I know it sucks losing Mike Evans, and I appreciate Baker Mayfield's demeanor after the game saying, yeah, I feel bad for Mike. It sucks. Like, we have to move on. Like they do. Same thing with Chris last year. I mean, you can't stop and cry. This is a moving train. This is.
Yeah, the Saints won't feel bad.
Yeah, Saints not going to feel bad. And neither the Patriots, the Panthers, and the Falcons later, and the Cardinals, and all of them. But the thing is you got to continue to press forward. And this is a really good start, and you can't let it unravel. And if you're Jason Light and you need to make some moves, you only get so few Super Bowl seasons. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years. 30. There's been 2 Super Bowl seasons. There had been 4 legit opportunities to get to the Super Bowl. 1999, they lost the NFC Championship game. 2002, they did it. 2020, they did it. In 2021, they were a few players away. You give me Chris Godwin, Tristan Wirfs, or even Antonio Brown instead of doing the peace out. Give me one of those 3 against the Rams. They probably win. Then they go on and they beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. They have another Lombardi. So in my 30 years doing this, you have 4 legitimate seasons where you had a shot at this. Mm-hmm. And if you're Jason Light, man, you got to understand that this could be one of those seasons. I mean, there's a chance, Matt, this team beats the Saints. I know the Patriots are 5-2. They look damn
They're good. Yeah.
But you have them at home, right? And then you've got the Cardinals at home, right? Then you've got 2 games against the Panthers, another game against the Saints back in Tampa. You got the Falcons, here in Tampa. You're going to have tough games against the Bills and the Rams. But 11, 12, 13 wins, not out of the possibility.
Everything is still in front of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's right.
It's a minor blip on the radar, and if they come out and look great and score 40 points against the Saints next week, we won't be thinking as much about this poor performance. But it's the closest thing we have right now. It's this game that just ended. So that's what we have to turn our attention to. And the Real Maverick, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says, when did we start double reviewing these refs? Yeah, I mean, that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Where it's like, hey, we're going to stop the game to review it. Okay, now you can go, oh, wait, now there's a red flag. So you just gave the Lions more time to think about whether or not to throw the flag. So it makes no sense. Like, the Bucs want to snap the ball, and they're like, nope, we can't because we're going to review it.
The other thing, too, that kind of got me was Dan Campbell challenged, like, did Cade Otton make the catch? Like did he continue to make the catch and all of that? And what he didn't challenge was the spot. Yeah. He didn't challenge that. But the NFL, and you know what? Maybe they did the right thing. Maybe they ultimately said, hey, we want to get this right. So we're going to help you out and say, yeah, your challenge was wrong, but we actually challenged it and you didn't get the line to gain, right? Yeah. But that's not what it's supposed to be. The letter of the law is you're supposed to declare when you throw the red flag, it's not, hey, I'm throwing the red flag, fix what's wrong. It's you throw the red flag, the ref comes over, and then you have to tell the ref what you're challenging. And what Dan Campbell challenged was he challenged, did K-Dotton complete the catch? And the ref said, yeah, you completed the catch. And that should have been it. But when they did that, they also said, oh, look, he didn't get the line to gain. Well, I don't know if that's the case. Can you go back and look at a play and say, oh, you know what? We didn't call that hold. We're going to call a holding penalty now, you know? Or, oh, there's a block in the back. We didn't see that the first go round. They didn't challenge that. They can't. But should we throw the flag now? That's what's such bullshit about the officials and the refs in this day and age in the NFL. They're just ruining this sport with these asinine calls.
The reality is, whether we like it or not, is that the NFL can just do what they want to do. They can make up their own rules. They can decide when this follows the letter of the law and this doesn't follow the letter of the law.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, no one. I mean, if it's like, hey, I'm going to protest the NFL by not watching when the Bucs are on the bye week. Hell no. I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to bet on every single game. Exactly. It's just, it's unfortunate. That's the reality that we're in. That's why I like when guys like J.J. Watt, who now can criticize the NFL because he's not in the league anymore, like he will call out bad roughing the passer penalties and stuff like that.
As they should.
We need more of that. That's really the only way that we can help turn the tides. Bucs Basement, thanks for this $2 super chat. Says Lions played this like their Super Bowl. We'll get them back.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. Or hopefully you don't see the Lions in the playoffs, especially up in Detroit, because it's tough to win up there. It just is.
It is very, very difficult. Seth Goodfellow, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says defense played well outside of the long run and a few missed tackles. If we had a higher percentage of the time possession, they would have scored less.
Yeah, I just felt like at times the Bucs were kind of like catching blocks, and the Lions' offensive line was just taking the fight to them. Not all the time. I thought when Vita Vea was out there,
a couple big TFLs.
His hockey shift line, they were coming. But Logan Hall, I thought, had a terrible game. Terrible game. Just missed so many tackles. I wouldn't be surprised if Logan Hall is probably the worst-rated Bucs defensive player come Pro Football Focus grades tomorrow. It's just my guess. But very disappointed in him. He had a couple of point-blank opportunities to make tackles for loss in the backfield. And, folks, that's the difference between Vita Vea and Logan Hall. Vita Vea makes those plays, Logan Hall doesn't. And it's just incredibly disappointing to see. And, and I tell you what, too, Servante Dennis, you look at the tackles, and, he made his share of plays. He made 12 tackles, and he had a sack. But just like Levante David on the game where he had that game-winning interception, he didn't play well despite the interception and all those tackles. It felt like that kind of game for Servatier today. And I did a Pewter Pulse about the Bucs needing some linebackers next year, and boy, they're going to need some linebackers because I don't know if Servatier Dennis is the answer at one of those linebacker spots. And Levante David, he's out there gutting it out, not feeling good. And he's just not, he's not healthy, and he's just not the Levante of old. So
and Deion Jones isn't the answer either. No. And one of the first things that hurt them again. Now the Bucs had done a better job of limiting the receiving yards and yards after the catch of opposing running backs. They did it very well against Christian McCaffrey, and even though the defense overall had a solid game, it was a game where they couldn't allow big plays. And it was the big play that when the Bucs offense only scored 9 points, it was the big play to Gibbs that brought them all the way down, and eventually it led to the Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown, and then the Gibbs 78-yard touchdown run. That was really all the Lions needed, and it started with that missed tackle by Servatier Dennis that really got the Lions going.
And it seemed to me like Todd Bowles said, okay, well, all right, we got to stop the underneath throws to the running backs, so we're going to play zone. And then when you play zone, then it's Amon-Ra St. Brown time. And he's just like, fine, please play zone because I'm going to kill you with zone coverage. And and he had a nice game tonight, especially in the first half. They kind of shut him down a little bit in the second half. But at the same time, the Lions kind of turned up the running game in the second half as well. But that's kind of the pick your poison. Play zone, and 14 beats you. If you play man, then Goff's just going to throw the ball out into the swing passes to Jahmyr Gibbs and just say, try to chase him, try to run him down.
Good luck.
He's pretty fast,
Yeah, he is. Nicola Ligistina, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Talking about that Hussey, John Hussey is actually a menace to society. Every time you see the ref's face pop up, like, all right, here we go again.
He looks so angry too, you know.
Yeah,
like he looks just like an angry man. You know, I mean, he literally has resting bitch face all the time.
he does.
It's a terrible look. I mean, like crack a smile or something, man. Like looks like he hates the world.
Well, he's like, well, the home fans hate me, the road fans hate me, therefore I hate me.
Yeah.
Henry Gigante, thank you for the $9.99 super chat, says offense was a massive disappointment from the play calls to Baker and the O-line. Why are wide receivers running into each other? Defense kept them in the game, but where are the fundamentals? Tackling was awful.
Was bad.
So
really bad.
The tackling was pretty bad. I'm not sure if this was on Tez Johnson, but Tez Johnson collided with two separate receivers. He collided with Mike Evans earlier in the game, and then he ran into someone else too. Not sure if it's on Tez Johnson or whose fault it was, but you can't have guys running into each other on several different occasions. And I think that's just an example of how this type of game went to. It's like, all right, they move the ball a little bit and bam, two receivers collide into each other and it's incomplete. So
here's this is so true. Cutter Villain says we look like Mighty Mike Pop Warner out there tonight. Yes, as someone who's coached Mighty Mike Pop Warner, I would agree. There were times where it certainly looked that bad, for sure, unfortunately.
Angelina S., thank you for the $2 super chat, says 5-1 pass versus rush ratio on the road equals loss. R.I.P.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, again, towards the end of the game, they had to be throwing the whole time. The running game didn't get off to a good start, and I think Rizard kind of went away from it because of that. But I would have liked for them to stay with it. We've seen that the Bucs can stick with the running game, and it might not be successful like early in the game, but then they find a way to break through, especially in the fourth quarter. But they weren't given that opportunity given the context of the game.
I'll tell you what, I saw a good running game Saturday night at Raymond James Stadium when the number 19th ranked USF Bulls, and I think they're higher now because of another win, when they took it to the Florida Atlantic Owls. So make sure you get tickets to see the next USF game. It's coming up on Thursday night against the UTSA Roadrunners. That's right, Byron Brown and the Bulls, man, they are so much fun. This guy is electric to watch. They're the number 18th ranked Bulls now. They moved up a spot, which is good for them. They're playing the UTSA Roadrunners in the Salute to Service game Thursday night, November 6th, 7:30 p.m. kickoff, Raymond James Stadium. That's going to be a nationally televised game. It's going to be fun, but get to the stadium. It was there's more and more Bulls fans that are coming in and supporting this team. And it was great to see. It was an electric environment. Went to my first Bulls game in a long time. I'm going to go back because it was a great win. This is a fun team to watch. Offense, defense comes to play. Scan that QR code to purchase your tickets to go see the Bulls play the UTSA Roadrunners Thursday, November 6th at 7:30 at night, Raymond James Stadium. It's going to be nice weather, cool. Oh, man, this is a fun team to watch.
Yeah, they're Florida's team right now after Miami lost. And
Josh Capo's happy about that.
Yeah, Josh Capo's very happy. TJ Smith, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, why does it seem like every single game we're fighting the opposing team and the officials?
There was a slogan. What was it? It's a Bucs life.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It still kind of is. It's crazy that I don't know that the Bucs are ever going to get the calls or get the, have the breaks go their way on a lot of occasions. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is.
Scott Federico, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, who knew that the Lions have 4 Hall of Fame defensive backs backing up their starters? The Lions outplayed us from the opening whistle.
They did, man. This is one of those things where it's like how we were praising Cameron Johnson and Tez Johnson, all these young receivers for stepping up. Man, you're exactly right, Scott. The Lions secondary, I did not see this coming.
No.
And it hit me and the Bucs like a freight train. The Lions defensive backs, again, they played like Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, DJ Reed, Terry and Arnold back there, Avonte Maddox. They played really, really well, and they earned this victory. And I tell you, from Aleem McNeil to Mohammed to Hutchinson, those pass rushers up front, they played like, we've got to win this game right now in the trenches, beating the Bucs offensive line, getting to Baker Mayfield to help out the guys in the back. And they did. They hats off to them. They played really well.
They made Baker Mayfield uncomfortable in the pocket, and that led to some of the poor throws. Yeah. Also, third downs. Bucs were atrocious on third down offensively. They're actually okay on fourth down, but you don't want to get into fourth downs because eventually, if you don't get a fourth down, that means the drive's done, and that's what killed them on that second to last drive.
You know what's crazy? The Bucs. Let's see. I've got to get my old man glasses on here. The Bucs were 4 of 16 on third down. The Lions were 3 of 13. So Todd Bowles' defense actually did a pretty good job on third down. This game could have been like a disgusting blowout, like 41-9, if not for some of the good play and some of the takeaways by this Bucs defense.
Yo Bucko, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, will we see some type of trade?
You know, I kind of hope so. I just don't want to see what is a great start, and it seems to me like this is a Bucs team of destiny here, a little bit, and I think you need to lean into it. And I don't know who they're going to trade for, if they will, what the compensation level will be, whatever. But I would like to see some move made to bolster this roster because they are losing players. And, we talked about the pass rush.
Yeah.
And they can't afford to lose Yaya Diaby or Hassan Reddick. You're going to lose Hassan Reddick for a couple of weeks now, is my guess, given that high ankle sprain or whatever he has. So, you need another pass rusher. You're not going to win a Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl with Yaya Diaby, Anthony Nelson, Chris Braswell, and Marquise Watts. No, it's just not going to happen.
And I get it. Jason doesn't like giving up draft picks, and he rightfully so. I mean, he's nailed a lot of these drafts. But at some point, you got to be a little bit more aggressive and push the envelope. There's a fine balance and a fine line for Jason where – he can execute a trade and get a quality player to help rush off of the edge while also not mortgaging the future. And you have a lot of the future already on this team.
That's right.
With the offensive line and Bucky Irving and a lot of these defensive players as well. So you can still not mortgage the future while making your team a Super Bowl contender.
That's right.
Mr. King, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, I understand why, but Jason will not sell out the future for the present. Who they got is who they got. No trade.
We'll see. Again, you don't do something for the first time until you do it for the first time, right? Until you make a big trade. And I remember when this franchise traded for Keyshawn Johnson in 2000, I believe it was 2000. Yeah. And that was a blockbuster deal, right? Or even when Mark Dominic and Greg Schiano traded for Darrelle Revis. That was a huge deal. It's been done before. And before then, Rich McKay hadn't made a big trade and Mark Dominic hadn't made a big trade. Maybe this is the time when Jason Light makes the trade for the first time. I don't know.
What's interesting as well is the trade deadline is November 4th.
Yeah.
That
during the bye week.
It's during the bye week, which gives everybody, Todd Bowles, the coaching staff, and certainly Jason Light in the front office to kind of go through, everything that they need.
No game to prepare for, man. That's great analysis right there. It is just you have the clear head of you're not coming off a loss, you're not coming off a win. You have a bye week. You can get to reset, self-scout, take a look at the landscape, evaluate what happens with other teams during your bye week, and see who wins and loses, and who's healthy and who's ready to wheel and deal.
For sure. Ryan H. On a similar topic, thanks for the $4.99, says, Jason better learn to give up draft picks if he wants to win a Super Bowl again. Very frustrating night all around. Love Pewter Report and all of your coverage. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, we have more fun when we cover a winning team. But
well, because of you guys, that's the thing. I mean, you're the fans of this team, and when you win, you're super happy, and everyone's in a great mood and all that. And it sucks when they lose, but we're here for you, and we're here to take on your tears and your jeers and all of that, and hopefully this team can rebound and get a win next week.
Yoda17, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says re-signing Godwin was a mistake. Could have used that money elsewhere. Reddick ain't it. Light can't draft pass rushers, and I miss Cohen. Baker ain't worth the money.
Whoa, Baker ain't worth the money.
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but Baker's been great.
Come on.
Baker, there's been 7 games. Baker's been great in 5 of them.
Yes.
Was okay against the Eagles, and they lost, and he was bad tonight. So to say he's not worth the money, I think is ridiculous. I think Godwin, it's easy right now to say he's not worth the money, but you got to remember, you still have him for 2 more seasons after this. I believe Godwin will be worth it. And Reddick, it's a 1-year gamble. So, again, it's not going to kill them long-term with Reddick.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any cap hit next year, too. I think he got his guaranteed money this year, and it's a 1-year deal. So,
Tyler Lovell, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, first thought was Bottlegate with that double review.
I'm not sure what the Bottlegate is.
Yeah, apologies. Not too familiar. My apologies.
Yeah, but thank you for the super chat, Tom.
Yes. Ben Harvey, thank you for the $10 super chat, says, as ugly as the loss was, only counts as 1. What's more concerning is the injuries. 2 starters on average every week. Winning is not sustainable with backups. They need to stop the bleeding ASAP.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because the Bucs are not the only team that's injured. I mean, look at the Lions. Their whole secondary was out. And granted, one of those players, Brian Branch, was suspended. But as Troy Aikman, and you missed this doing the Pewter Game Day show, Matt, but as Troy Aikman said on the broadcast, he's talked with coaches around the league. They have never seen anything like this before in the NFL. So many players each week succumbing to injury, star players, just the amount of injuries. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it either. And I don't know if there's a pinpoint thing that is causing all this, if it's, the super soft training camps that these players are going through now compared to the 2-a-days and all of that stuff back in the day. I don't know, but I don't know. Sometimes be careful what you ask for. I mean, the NFL Players Association, they wanted the flag football in the offseason, the no contact and the OTAs and all that type of stuff. And they wanted the no 2-a-days and the super soft training camp, and they got it, but now you're seeing a rash of injuries just hit every team across the league.
And I don't want to hear about the training staff, like how are they supposed to prevent Mike Evans landing on his elbow, and that leads to a broken collarbone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for some clarification, Desert Dog 2K, going back to Tyler Lovell's thing about the Bottlegate. Yes, there was a thing with the Cleveland Browns. I want to say either when Bill Belichick was coaching the Browns way back in the day, or it might have been in the 80s, but there was some weird review with the refs, and it went not in the favor of the Browns, and it was a home game in Cleveland, and fans threw bottles all over the field. Yeah, I remember seeing that highlight. So thank you for the clarification there.
Right.
Desert Dog 2K also has a $10 super chat who says, you can challenge stuff like a false start, illegal alignments, etc., in the indoor football league. Refs tonight worse than what I cover in the indoor football league. Can't have wrong calls, literally steal possessions.
Yeah, I mean,
that was another big one.
I know. Now, here's the only thing. Like, I understand they're part-time refs. Like, I get that argument, but what are they supposed to do during the week? Even if they were full-time, even if, like, what's his name? Jim Hussey. What's his name?
John Hussey.
John Hussey. Even if John Hussey, let's say he sells insurance, during the week or whatever, then he moonlights as an official and collects a check doing that. If he wasn't selling insurance, what would he do Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, waiting for a game, or in this case,
I'm sure Sunday? They would watch more tape, maybe watch a Thursday game and say, hey, like, this is what we should do here, whatever the case may be. I think there's like more studying involved, more like,
maybe I could see that.
Okay, today we're going to review one-on-ones in the end zone. I think that would also impact. A lot of times teams get the benefit of a pass interference on an underthrown ball and the receiver. I just think there's like more things you can watch and say, we should call it like this or call it like that.
All right. That's a good point. And you know what? You're right, man. And I think too, maybe there would be more consistency from crew to
That's
crew to
fine
crew.
too. I would like that. Yes,
Yeah.
I hate when it's like this is the team that throws the most, the refereeing crew that throws the most penalties in the league.
Yeah.
This is the least. Get somewhere, like some
Try to
type
have
of
it be more uniform. Yeah, I agree.
right.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Okay.
Alex Scott, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says send Spytech some first rounders and Braswell for Crosby. Talking about Max Crosby. Our possible future needs like linebacker and tight end can be found on day 2 and 3. 3-year Super Bowl window starts now.
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl window's open, and you got to take advantage of it while you can. I mean, maybe there's a chance Mike Evans comes back for a playoff run. We saw Vita Vea come back and help this team in 2020. So you never say never. I mean, I'll take a 6'5" wide receiver that can go up and get the ball in those fade routes and work the end zone like Mike can any day of the week in January. So, or February too, for that matter. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
Like it's really unfortunate that the streak's going to be over with 1,000 yards per season. But if this is Mike's last season, and even though the streak doesn't come through, imagine his last game on the Bucs or of his NFL career is winning his second Super Bowl. I mean, that's the best send-off you can give him if he's not going to reach 1,000 yards. So
absolutely,
to me, I think that's what you kind of look at and try to focus on.
Yep, for sure.
And our guy, Scott Federico, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, bad night, but move on and beat the Saints, in all caps right there. 6-2 going into the bye would be great. Yeah, I think if you look at glass half full, you're absolutely right. This is a team that has learned how to win in different ways without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin Jr., without Bucky Irving, missing pieces on the defensive side as well. You definitely would be happy to go 6-2 into the bye.
Yeah, I know another winning team too, and that's the folks over at Jorgensen Law.
Welcome to Jorgensen Law PA, where our family's legacy drives us to fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury, workers' compensation, and Social Security, we're committed to winning for you. No fees unless we succeed. Trust in our family to help yours. Let's achieve justice together.
Yeah, the Jorgensen brothers are huge Tampa Bay fans. They are the champions of the injured and disabled. Get a free case evaluation, no fees unless they win for you. Give Jorgensen Law a call at 727-347-7733 or visit them on the web at jorgensenlawoffice.com. That's Jorgensen Law Office. Appreciate the Jorgensen Law Firm for being the sponsor of our injury reports. Unfortunately,
been a lot of them.
We've got a lot of them to go over. Yeah. And of course, Mike Evans is now added to that, and I'm sure will be added to injured reserve come tomorrow.
Yeah.
And very unfortunate news, but this was kind of a disastrous night in Detroit, Matt. No victory Monday tomorrow, but we will have a podcast tomorrow. Todd Bowles is going to be speaking to the media virtually. So we'll have a podcast tomorrow to talk about that, and we'll hear what Coach Bowles has to say. Also, get an update on Hassan Reddick's injury. So stay tuned to pewterreport.com for that. Plus our podcast tomorrow. We'll have that at 4:00, and then we'll be right back at this reporting for this week on Wednesday and Thursday at One Buccaneer Place.
That's right. Before we get out of here, we got a couple more super chats, but also got to give a shout out to all of our Pewter Platinum members. So thank you to Scott Federico, Scotty J, Rayful Gordon, Noah Parr, Dave Anderson, Eric McMillan, Hezo813, Ash Fishpool, Joel Elrican, Sam, John Dale Morris, Zap Brannigan, RP89, Connor Four Reels, Kevin Thomas, Mario Thomas, Leighton Carter, Brandon Riley, The Guy is Gifted, Alec Bickler, Nick Dubuque, Dominic Tarantino, HK Bucks, The Real Maverick, Brayon Pinkney, Brian Shucker, Black Gold 1999, Steven Zool, King James 813, and Brian Green. Thank you all.
Yes.
So much for your support of PewterReport.com by being a Pewter Platinum member.
Yeah, that list keeps growing and growing.
It does.
If you want to join the ranks of our Pewter Report TV channel members, well, we'll let you do that. all you have to do is hit the join button on Pewter Report TV, and you can show your support for Pewter Report by becoming a channel member. You'll have the option to pick one of these 4 membership levels: $3.99, $6.99, $9.99, or $24.99. You can read all of the perks right here, or you can do that by hitting the join button. These menu options will pull up, and find the one that fits your best level of support for us or your budget. We greatly appreciate the support. Of course, the Pewter Premier members and the Pewter Platinum members do get the bonus podcast that Matt and I do on Fridays. It's our Pewter Insider podcast. So if you like our content, you want another bonus podcast, become a Pewter Premier or Pewter Platinum member, and we'll be happy to do that. Everybody gets the custom emojis, and I did add, as promised, an Emeka Ibuka emoji, and also the loyalty badges. But we greatly appreciate the support. We've seen our channel membership numbers grow and grow and grow this month. We greatly thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And we're almost at 22,000. We're over 21,500 subscribers now. And it's nothing, costs not a single penny to hit the subscribe button. That is free. You can help us get to 22,000 by going to Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, hitting subscribe.
That's right. Desert Dog 2K, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, SR, the new personalized 30 jersey marking 3 decades covering the Bucs is awesome.
Thank you.
Pewter Report has the best Bucs coverage, bar none. We appreciate it, guys.
I appreciate that. It's not just me. It's Matt Matera. It's Adam Slavon. It's Bailey Adams, Josh Capo. It's all of the Pewter reporters that came before them, the Trevor Sickamas, the Charlie Campbells, the Jim Flynn's, the John Ledyards. So many interns, so many reporters have helped out. It's Cliff Welch, our photographer. It's Hugh MacArthur, the president, Allison Pendrick. It's everybody. It's my lovely wife Ashley. It's my kids. It's a whole support system here. It's not just me that has made Pewter Report grow. It's you guys too. You guys are part of this. We wouldn't do this without you, and I certainly wouldn't be doing this for 30 years if not for your support. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for the kind words.
Yeah.
Ulam Seba, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says, trades needed on both sides. No cry. On to the Saints. That's how you got to look at it. 24-hour rule goes on both sides for winning and losing. And I think you flush this one. You obviously look at what went wrong, and then back at it to beat the Saints, and then you can enjoy a bye week coming up.
Take it out on the other team. It's next man up for the roster.
That's what the Lions did to the Bucs today.
That's right.
I don't think it's that much of a surprise that the Lions were the faster team.
Yeah,
based on being unhappy about how they lost.
I agree.
To the Chiefs. Bucs Basement, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says Bucs are 1-7 in primetime games since 2023. Ouch.
Yeah, not pretty. That's not.
Geist85, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, what the hell happened to the run defense? Also, were the DBs rusty?
Just missing tackles, and the Lions were the faster, more physical team, and that this was kind of a little concern of mine. That's why I did the Pewter Pulse about, can you handle the expectations? Or are you going to feel too good about yourself? Not that this team thought they were going to show up and win tonight. I don't think that whatsoever, but you have to level up for games like this. And the Lions showed why they're still the class in the NFC. And they're, in my opinion, the team to beat. Maybe the Eagles are there too, but certainly the Lions they have championship pedigree. They were 15-2 last year, and they would have gone all the way if not for all of those injuries on defense. They just didn't have any bodies left over at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think there's like 4 teams you can kind of lump at the top. And I think it's the Eagles. They are still the defending champs.
Yep.
The Eagles, the Lions. I still think you put the Bucs in there. I think you can put the Packers in there too.
I agree. Yep.
Some of the top teams.
Yep. Well said.
And at least one of them will be a wild card with the NFC North.
That's right.
The Lions and the Packers. So that helps the Bucs a little bit. Where was I? Geist 85. No, we got to that one. Yoda 17. Thank you for this $4.99 super chat. Says Baker is a great player, but I just don't see him bringing us to a Super Bowl. Is that worth 45 to 55 million a year? And then also says you can't guarantee Godwin coming back to form.
Yeah, I can't guarantee Chris Godwin's going to come back to form. That I'm concerned about that fibula injury. I am, and I don't have any insights or sources telling me that. It's just kind of a gut feeling. I don't feel good about that. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Chris comes back this week or after the bye week and plays lights out. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But listen, is Dak Prescott worth $60 million?
No.
Lamar
He's
Jackson
playing really well, but not worth 60.
Yeah. But Lamar Jackson, is he worth the money? We're talking about guys that haven't won the Super Bowl. Is Brock Purdy, is he worth that money?
No.
You're not going to be worth it until you win it, right? Until you win the Super Bowl. And there's a lot of guys. Josh Allen's a prime example. He makes a ton of money, won the MVP, Mr. Pro Bowl, great quarterback. You want him on your team, but he has not yet gotten to the mountain yet. And
hasn't even played in the Super Bowl.
I know.
Like, at least Joe Burrow played in the Super Bowl.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it is crazy. You talk about some of these great quarterbacks. I mean, it's tough when Mahomes goes every year, so it's like tough for the rest of the AFC to be the guy that won a Super Bowl. But we'll see. I mean, I think we'll be singing a different tune about Baker next week against New Orleans, and certainly in other games. But really, to put it in conclusion, just a nightmarish type of evening for the Bucs between the injury to Mike Evans, the injury to Hassan Reddick, poor play on offense, and just not enough of plays getting done by the Bucs defense to keep it around. So Bucs lose 24-9 to the Detroit Lions and fall to 5-2 on the season.
Yep.
Certainly a lot ahead for the Bucs. Season's not over. Just a minor speed bump on this journey that hopefully leads to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But,
thanks so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate. We know sometimes it's tough. You want to turn off the TV and kick the dog and throw the beer can, all that stuff. But you tuned in, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting us here at Pewter Report TV.
Yeah, so if you are not already doing so, please make sure you are following us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Pewter Report. And our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment on this video as well, how you're feeling about the Bucs following their second loss of the season. Would like to see if people are going to panic, if they think, they'll be all right. I'd love to see everyone's opinion about it. But that's going to do it for us on tonight's show. It's now officially Tuesday. Before Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you later today at 4 p.m. for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.